Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our YouTube channel, Paper World, where we solve past paper questions of O-level IGCSE. Currently, we are solving past papers of the topic in mathematics 0580 and O-levels as well, which is called maps and scales. This is a very easy topic. But I don't know, kids somehow tend to find it confusing. My kids also find it confusing sometimes. And that is why I've devised a method that is foolproof. And if you do these questions with the method I am teaching you at the moment, you will be able to do this topic very easily. And these are just marks for grabs. These questions are just like that. These are the questions which are towards the easier side, and you should score 100% in these questions. So let's begin, and with every question, I'll be explaining everything in detail so that you get the concept of maps and scales as you are progressing with your past paper questions. ठीक हो गया? So let's begin with question number 1. The scale on map is 1:20,000. Calculate the actual distance between 2 points which are 2.7 centimeters apart on the map and give your answers in kilometers. Acha. First thing is first, you should understand that what does this thing mean. Okay? This means that on the map, okay, let's begin with question number 1. The scale on a map is 1:20,000. Calculate the actual distance between 2 points which are 2.7 centimeters apart on the map. Give your answers in kilometers. First thing is first, we need to understand that what does this thing mean. Okay? This means that on a map, 1 centimeter is equal to 20,000 centimeter in actuality. Okay? So, as we have to give the answers in kilometers, so we need to convert this centimeter to kilometers. Okay? This is the first thing that you should be doing. So, how are we going to do that? 1 centimeter is equal to 20,000 centimeter. 1 centimeter is equal to charge. My tablet seems to be behaving in a funny manner. By 1,000 meters. Okay? So this means that this is equal to 200 meters. Okay? So 1 centimeter is equal to 200 meters, but we still have to go to the kilometers. So now, if we divide 200 with 1,000, which is the relationship between a centimeter and a kilometer, so what we get is 0.2 kilometers. Okay? Now, once we've established this thing, that 1 centimeter is equal to 0.2 kilometers, so what we are going to do next is, we are going to write map ratio actual. Okay? Now, we know that 1 centimeter on the map is equal to 0.2 kilometers in reality. Okay? And 2.7 centimeters on the map is equal to x kilometers in actuality. Okay? Once we've done this, we will cross multiply. 0.2 is going to be multiplied with 2.7 and x is going to be multiplied with 1. So 0.2 into 2.7 gives us 0.54 kilometers. So 2.7 centimeters on the map are equal to 0.54 kilometers in reality. So this is your answer. Okay. See how easy this is. We'll just keep on doing these questions, and as we will do the questions, you will get a fairly reasonable idea how to do these questions. And inshallah, you will be mastering them until I reach the last question. Okay. Now, the next question states that the scale of the map is 1:500,000. On the map, the centers of two cities are 26 centimeters apart. Calculate the actual distance in kilometers between the centers of the two cities. Okay. Now, excuse me. Excuse me. First thing is first. What we need to do is we need to establish a relationship between this thing. 1 centimeter is equal to 500,000 centimeters in reality. Okay? This is what we've been given. So, as we have to take out the answers in kilometers, so what we are going to do is we will first convert it into meters. Okay? So that gives us 5,000 meters. Okay? And then finally we are going to convert it into kilometers. You can do it directly as well. Okay? Magar, the thing is that if you go by step by step, if you go step by step, so you will be able to do this in a foolproof manner. Okay? So if we do this, so now we know that 1 centimeters is equal to 5 kilometers in reality. So we've converted 1 centimeters to kilometers according to this scale given to us. Okay? Second step, this was the first step. This is the second step where we write map ratio actual. Now we know that 1 centimeter on the map in reality is equal to 5 kilometers. Okay? And here it's given that the center, the distance between the centers of two cities is 26 centimeters. And we have to find this distance in kilometers. So this is what we are going to do. Then we are going to cross multiply. So x into 1 is equal to 5 into 26, which gives us 130 kilometers. So 26 centimeters on the map are equal to 130 kilometers in reality. ठीक है जी? I hope you understood this question and the method as well. Let's move to the next question. The distance between the centers of two villages is 8 kilometers. A map on which they are shown has a scale of 1:50,000. Calculate the distance between the centers of the two villages on the map. Okay, give your answers in centimeters. So this is actually the exact opposite of what we've been doing. Okay? In that we had to find what the distance actually looks like, in reality looks like in kilometers. Now we have to find that in centimeters. Okay? So first thing is first, the first step is that we have to decode this scale. Here we know that 1 centimeter is equal to 50,000 centimeters. We've got to convert it into meters. We can do that by dividing this with 100. ठीक है जी? So that gives us 5,000 meters. And then when we are going to convert it into kilometers by dividing it with 1,000, because 1 centimeter is equal to 1 over 1,000. So cutting these would give us 0.5 kilometers. So we've established that 1 centimeter on the map is equal to 0.5 kilometers in reality. So step 2, map versus actual. ठीक है? So here we just can write 1 centimeter is equal to 0.5 kilometers. So here we have to find the distance on the map. ठीक है? And the actual has already been given to us, which is 8 kilometers. So we'll just cross multiply it. 8 kilometers is equal to 0.5x. So x would be equal to 8 by 0.5, which gives us 16 centimeter. So the distance between centers of two villages in reality is 8 kilometers. And on the map, this distance is equal to 16 centimeters. So that is how we will solve this question. And there is another part for this question. Write your answer to part A in meters square. Okay. Now we have our answer as 16 centimeters. We have to convert it into meter square. ठीक है जी? So how are we going to do that? We know that 1 centimeter is equal to how are we going to do this? We already know that 16 centimeter is our answer, and we have to convert it into meter square. Now we know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters, and 1 centimeter is equal to 1 over 100 meters. ठीक है? So 1 centimeter square would be equal to 1 by 10,000 meters. ठीक है? So 16 centimeter squares would be equal to 16 over 10,000, and 1 and 2 and 0, 0. So this is going to be our answer. 0.0016 meter squares, right? You should be knowing how to do these conversions up till now. If you've not done them in maths, you must have done them in physics at least. So that is how we do it. I've done that for you again over here. Acha. Moving on to the next question. On a map with scale 1 is to 25,000, the area of the lake is 13.6 square centimeters. Calculate the actual area of the lake, giving your answers in square kilometers. So the questions that we've done up till now, we had to give answers in centimeters or in kilometers. But now we have to give our question, and figures given are in centimeter squares, and we have to give answers in kilometer square. So there isn't much of a difference in this as well. So first thing is first, what we need to do is we need to write our scale. We know that 1 centimeter is equal to 25,000 centimeters on the map, right? So we'll progress in the same manner. Okay. So 1 centimeter is equal to 25,000 centimeters. 1 centimeters is equal to 25,000 over 100 meters. So that gives us 250 meters. And then we have to convert it into kilometers since we've got to give the answer in kilometers. So 250 by 1,000, sorry, this gives us 0.1 centimeter to be equal to 0.25 kilometers. Okay. Now we've done that, but we need to convert this into 1 centimeter square and we need to convert this into kilometer square. So how are we going to do that? We are going to multiply both the sides with square. ठीक है जी? This becomes 1 centimeter square and this becomes 0.0625 kilometer square. So we've reached our relationship between 1 centimeter square and kilometer square on the map. Okay? So here comes our second step, map versus actual. Okay, so now we know that 1 centimeter square on the map is equal to 0.0625 kilometer square in reality, and 33.6 centimeter squares would be equal to x kilometer squares. So cross multiplication, 0.0625 multiplied by 33.6 will give us our distance, area in kilometer squares. Okay, so this gives us 2.1 kilometer squares. So x is equal to 2.1 kilometer square. So you don't need to worry if you're given the figures in square centimeters or square kilometers. You are still going to progress with the question in the same way. Just one step has to be added, that after you've reached and converted the scale, so just multiply the figures with a square, and that is how you are going to get 1 centimeter square is equal to this much kilometer squares. Okay? We've done this as well. Let's move to the next question. Okay. This question states that a model of a car has a scale 1:20. The volume of the actual car is 12 meter cubes. Find the volume of the model. Give your answers in cubic centimeters, that is centimeter cube. Okay? So what we've got to do now is, first thing is first, we know that 1 centimeter is equal to 20 centimeters in reality. Okay? So we just have to convert it into meter cube. We don't have to go up till kilometer because the answer has to be given in centimeter cubes, and we have been given the figures to be in meter cube. Okay? So 1 centimeter is equal to 20 over 100 meters. Okay? This means that 1 centimeter on the scale, on the map, is equal to 0.2 meters in reality. Okay? And since we need the answer to be cubic centimeters and we've given the volume of the car in meter cube, so what we need to do is we need to multiply both sides with cube. Okay, ji? The 1 centimeter cube is equal to 8 into 10 raised to the power minus 3 meter cubes. Excuse me. So we've reached our relationship. Okay? Now we are going to move to our second step, which is map versus actual. Okay? So the relationship that we've established between meter cube and centimeter cube on the map and actuality is that 1 centimeter cube on the map is actually equal to 8 raised to the power 8 into 10 raised to the power minus 3 meter cubes. Okay? And in actuality, the volume is 12 meter cubes, and we've got to find the volume in the model. Okay, ji? So we'll cross multiply. 12 meter cubes is equal to x into 8 into 10 raised to the power minus 3. So 12 over 8 into 10 raised to the power minus 3 is equal to x, and this is going to give us 1500 centimeter cubes to be the volume of the model. Okay? In actuality, it was 12 meters cube, and the volume of the model is 1500 centimeters cube. Okay, ji? I hope you understood this question. Okay. Moving on to the next question. On a scale, a lake has an area of 32 centimeter squares. The scale on the map is 1 ratio 24,000. Calculate the actual area of the lake. Give your answer in kilometer square. So first thing is first, what we need to do is we need to find relationship between centimeter squares and kilometer squares. So we know that according to the scale, 1 centimeter is equal to 24,000 centimeters in actuality. Okay? And 1 centimeter is equal to 240 meters in reality. Okay? You know that you've got to divide 240 with 100 and 24,000 with 100 to get 240 meters. Okay? And then in order to establish a relationship between centimeters and kilometers on the map and scale, this is going to be 0.240 kilometers. You've got to divide this with 1000. We've done this many times, but the map is actually in centimeter squares and the answer has to be in kilometer squares. So we need to multiply both sides with square. Okay, ji? So 1 centimeter square is equal to 0.0576 kilometer square. Okay? So we've established what 1 centimeter square on the map is equal to kilometer square in real life. Okay? So moving on to a step 2, we will write map versus actual. Okay, ji? Writing our relationship, 1 centimeter square is equal to 0.0576 kilometer squares. Okay, ji? And on the map, the area of the lake is given to be 32 centimeter squares, and in order to find what 32 centimeter square is in reality, we need to cross multiply these values. 0.0576 is going to be multiplied with 32 is equal to x is going to be multiplied with that, but it's okay. We don't need to write 1 centimeter square over here. So this is going to give us 1.8432 kilometer squares as the actual area of this lake, which was 32 centimeter squares on the map. Right? So let's move on to the next question. Acha, this question is a little bit different from what we've been doing. In the questions that we were doing before, the scale of the map was already given to us. Okay? And we established what 1 centimeter on the scale is equal to the actual value in reality. Okay? But here we have to find the scale. ठीक है, let's go through the question. You don't need to be afraid of anything. This is also as simple as it can be. ठीक है, so we'll do it in a way that you'll understand very well, inshallah. A lake has an area of 3 kilometer squares. On the map, the area of the lake is 18.75 centimeter squares. Find the scale of the map in the form of 1:m. Achha. While doing these questions, just remember one thing, that 1 kilometer squares is equal to 100,000 centimeter squares. So if you know and learn this relationship, you will be able to do any question with ease, because most of the times we are given questions that have a relationship between kilometer square and centimeter squares, or centimeter or kilometer. ठीक है, so you need to know that 1 kilometer square is equal to 100,000 centimeter squares and 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 centimeters. If you know this now, so you will be able to do all the questions very easily. So now, first step is first. We know that 1 kilometer square is always equal to 100,000 centimeter square. ठीक है जी. We've been given the lake has an area of 3 kilometer square in actuality. So 3 kilometer squares would be equal to 300,000 centimeter squares. ठीक है. So we've established our relationship. ठीक है, according to the question that we've been given. ठीक है. So now once we know that 3 kilometers are equal to 300,000 kilometers, so on the map, the area of the lake is 18.75 centimeters square. This means that we've got to convert this into 1 centimeter square. ठीक है. 18.75 centimeter squares is equal to 300,000 centimeter square. ठीक है ना. अगर आपको याद हो तो पीछे भी हम यही करते थे कि जो मैप पे स्केल हमें गिवन होता था, तो 1 सेंटीमीटर इज इक्वल टू 240,000 सेंटीमीटर्स कर रहे होते थे. ठीक है. सो वी नीडेड both these two quantities in centimeter squares. We've converted this. ठीक है. We know that 18.75 on the map is equal to 300,000 centimeter squares in reality. ठीक है. We've converted 3 kilometers into centimeters so that both the scales are the same. ठीक है. Units are the same. So 1 centimeter square would be equal to obviously 300,000 by 18.75. ठीक है. That gives us 16,000 centimeter squares. So now we've found that 1 centimeter square is equal to 16,000 centimeter squares. But we need to find relationship that is in the form of 1 centimeter to this 1 centimeter to these much centimeters or whatever. ठीक है. तो ये सेंटीमीटर स्क्वायर नहीं होना चाहिए, इसको खाली सेंटीमीटर्स में होना चाहिए. सो हाउ डू वी गेट रिड ऑफ दिस स्क्वायर? वी जस्ट पुट अ स्क्वायर रूट ऑन बोथ साइड्स. ठीक है. तो ये बन गया 1 सेंटीमीटर एंड ये बन गया 400. ठीक है. सो नाउ we've reached a place where we wanted to reach. ठीक है. Where everything has been converted into centimeter. So 1:n में इसको लिखा जाएगा 1:400 because now 1 centimeter is equal to 400 centimeters on the map. ठीक है. If we go and do this question the other way around, and we've given, let's suppose that we have been given the scale of the map. ठीक है. So what we'll do is, in the first step we will convert it into since the figures in the question are in kilometer square and centimeter square, so we need to convert centimeters into किलोमीटर्स फर्स्ट, ठीक है. तो 4 meters होगा ये, and 1 centimeter is equal to, when you are going to divide it by 1000, तो 0.004 kilometers. And since the figures given in the question are in kilometer square, so we need to multiply both sides with square. So this gives us the answer to be, ठीक हो गया. Now we move to our second step, which is map versus actual. ठीक है, इसमें से एक वैल्यू ले लेते हैं. ऑब्वियसली दो बोथ तो कांट बी यूज्ड. So we know that 1 centimeter square is equal to 0.000016 centimeter, kilometer square. And we will take this to be x and this to be 3 kilometer square. Cross multiply कीजिए. 0.000016 is equal to 3 kilometer square, and x is going to be 3 by 0.000016. So dividing this is supposed to give us this answer. ठीक है जी, let's divide it. Okay, let's move to the last question, which is going to revise all our concepts that we've just done. ठीक है. A map has a scale of 5 centimeter to 2 kilometers. The actual distance between two masts is 14 kilometers. Calculate the distance in centimeters between two masts. Okay. What we need to do is that they've given us that 5 centimeters are equal to 2 kilometers on the map. Okay. So we've got to find the distance in centimeters. You will just write, we haven't been given any scale or anything. ठीक है, तो इस तरह के क्वेश्चन को ऐसे करते हैं. Since there was no such question like this in the past papers, but such a question can always come in, so it's always nice to do such a question. ठीक है. And in actuality, it's 14 kilometers. So this is map and this is actual. ठीक है. So we are going to cross multiply these. 14 into 5 and 2 into x. 14 into 5 gives us 70 over 2 is equal to x. So 35 centimeter is the distance between two masts on the map. ठीक है जी. This is how we do it. Now the next part of the question says that on the map the surface area of the lake is 50 centimeter squares. Calculate the surface area in kilometer squares of the actual lake. Now this is the continuation of the same question, and we know that on the map 5 centimeters was equal to 2 kilometers. Okay, we've just established that it was given to us in the question above. Okay, we know that 5 centimeter is equal to 2 kilometers. So 1 centimeter would be equal to 2 by 5. So 1 centimeter is equal to 0.5 kilometers in actuality. Okay. Once we've established our relationship, and since the figures in the question are in centimeter square and kilometer square, so we've got to multiply both sides with the square. Okay. So this will give us 1 centimeter square to be equal to 0.16 kilometer squares. Okay. So this is our relationship that we needed. Okay. So map and actual. Okay. So on the map 1 centimeter square is equal to 0.16 kilometer square, and the surface area of the lake on the map is 50 centimeter square. So we've got to calculate the actual one. So we will cross multiply. 0.16 into 50 is equal to x. So this is going to give us 8 kilometer squares to be the actual surface area of the lake. Now in the next question, what they demand is write the scale 5 centimeter to 2 kilometers in the form of 1:n. So this question practically covers every aspect of this topic. Okay? So we knew that 5 centimeters is equal to 2 kilometers. Okay? So 5 centimeters have 2 kilometers have to be converted into centimeters. So 2 kilometers would be, since I just told you that you've got to remember the relationships, that 1 kilometer square is equal to 100,000 centimeter squares and 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 centimeters. So if we need to convert these 2 kilometers into centimeters, so we are going to multiply 2 with 1,000 and this is going to give us 2,000 centimeters. So now we know that 5 centimeters is equal to 2,000 centimeters. Now we just need to find what 1 centimeter is equal to. So 1 centimeter would be equal to 2,000 by 5 and this is going to give us 400. So centimeters. So the scale of the map is 1:400. Okay? I hope you learned how to do maps and scales in this video in a foolproof manner. And inshallah, once you've understood what I've taught you, so you will be able to do these questions without any mistakes. Just go do the questions step by step, and inshallah, you'll get full marks in this topic, in the questions that come from this topic. All the kind of questions that come from this topic have been covered in this video. Okay, so there won't be an other way in which these questions, you'll come across these questions. So you will be inshallah able to do these questions in whatever form they come in. So kindly, in the end, I'd say like and subscribe the channel, and if you found anything helpful from in this video, so kindly remember me in your prayers. Thank you and take care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz.